Hey guys, JK here to talk about the Final Fantasy 13 event and banner coming up. To be honest, it's going to be a little bit underwhelming, but unless he surprises us with lightning on the second half of the banner or something like that. So why don't we go ahead and get to it. The event is going to be called the Hanging Edge, and as you know, is the pattern. This is going to be a farming event. We had an exploration event just now, or currently, and now this is going to be a farming event. So the currency is going to be called trochoid gears, and you basically farm that up and go to the Mile King as usual and buy these things. Thunderfall is an ability that has 210% AoE magic attack, or I guess you could call it 2.1 multiplier, and an AoE 3-turn minus 50% thunder resist. So this looks really good actually. I'm not sure if you could just equip it on anybody, but if you can, it looks really good. Here we go is a self defense and spirit buff by 50% for 3 turns. I guess could be situationally useful, but for the most part, I mean, if you're putting up Embolden or Cheer and Focus, then this is kind of redundant, but still a higher percentage than you would normally get. Attacker is just a materia. I'm guessing it's going to be farmable, but it gives you attack and magic plus 10%. So right when we get the 10% attack materia in the story, which I was really excited about, it looks like we're going to be getting kind of an improved version of that. But again, I don't know how expensive they are or how many you can get. You get some global exclusive items here. Marlboro Wand for Vanille only. This is going to be better than your golden staff, your typical thing, but I mean, that kind of depends on whether you want to use Vanille or not, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Spirit 60, attack 15, and has a passive chance to inflict blind and poison. I don't know why you'd be auto attacking with this, but and then it has a new skill, Jinx, that deals damage and inflicts one enemy with disease. Not sure how much damage this is going to be, or if you want to waste your turn like that, but better than nothing. Sazh has a new gun here, Hades Magnums. It's only for Sazh, and it's pretty much better than most of the guns that we can get in the game right now, except for like Mustadio's TM, which is way stronger. But this does come with Heat Blitz, fire damage to all enemies. I don't know if that's a passive thing or if it's like an active ability you have to choose. Either way, it's nice to have that option. And then Cold Blood, which is deal partial unmitigated damage to one enemy, which I think is actually much needed because he doesn't really have like great single target attacks. Maybe that's why they added it. I think this, yeah, global exclusive. I think they added it because they probably realized that he was too weak at dealing with single enemies. Maybe. The event lasts from Friday to Thursday, 2 weeks, basically. Not the following Thursday, but the Thursday after that. And then, so first time clearing rewards, you get a recipe for Morale Talisman at beginner level. It's okay. It gives you 10 attack and Auto Brave. It's basically on par with a Hyper Wrist because Auto Brave is like automatic 20% attack boost, but if you're using Cheer or whatever, I mean, that's just going to override it anyway. So think of it as like a slightly better version of Hyper Wrist, but for the most part, about the same. Intermediate, this is the unique crafting material that you need to make one of these. Advanced, recipe for Winged Saint. Now, when I first saw this, I was super excited because I thought this was going to be like the Uber upgrade to Black Belt Gi, which we've been using forever. Because obviously it looks like a piece of clothes or armor. And it's pretty much Snow's jacket, I think. Attack plus 56, defense plus 44, which sounded incredible. But what I'm reading is that this is actually somehow going to be a fist weapon, which makes no sense whatsoever to me. But if that's the case, then it's really not amazing anymore. Plus 56, I guess for a lot of people that would be the best fist weapon that they have. You could farm up the TM for Zhao, but aside from TMs, I think this is probably one of the best fist weapons that we'll have. Again, if it was an armor, that would have been awesome, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And then pro level, you get the rare crafting material for that. Elite, totally optional, where you get some of the currency and you get 100 lapis, not a big deal. And as we've come to expect, if you pull these characters, you get bonuses for the currency there. Now, I'm surprised to not see lightning up here. I'd be really disappointed, actually, because that means that they're going to keep making us pull new characters for each event and not give us bonuses for, you know, realm-specific characters that we may already have, which doesn't make sense. I mean, she's even in the picture here. But yeah, Snow gives you plus 75, so does Vanille, because they're both base 4 stars. And Sazh is a base 3 star, only gives you plus 50%. And that's about it. As for the banner, to be honest, this is a very, for most people, this is going to be a very bad banner. The only people I think that should pull on this banner, well, I mean, I'm probably going to pull a little bit because I do want the bonuses, having the characters in the party, but the only people that really need these units are people who somehow missed Cecil and don't have, I would even settle for a Warrior of Light and just skip on this, but if you don't have a Cecil, you don't have a tank, then Snow is going to be the second best tank in Global, possibly until Warrior of Light gets a 6-star form. He's a really good tank, actually, but in my opinion, not quite as good as Cecil. The TMs are really good, actually, on all these characters. Well, at least 2 of them. Snow's TM is Champion's Belt. You get attack and defense plus 30. That's a flat increase. Boost attack and defense when equipped with martial arts gear, and I think that's a 20% boost. So that's a really good TM for Snow. Well, it doesn't have to be for Snow. It can be for a lot of different characters, obviously. And he's a tank, but he's more like a Demon Rain type of tank where he counters a lot. And he does some ice and water attacks, and we are pretty short on water attacks in the game right now. So yeah, he has his uses. Vanille, kind of a support / wannabe healer. Well, I shouldn't say wannabe. She is a support healer, but not the greatest. So her TM is really good too. It's magic and spirit plus 30%. If you put this on your mages, that's a really big boost. That's the main reason I would want her. She has cheer and focus, but I'll explain why that's not as amazing as it sounds. And Sazh is your base 3-star unit. If you somehow still don't have a full breaker, here's an easy full breaker to get. His TM reward is called 20-sided die, even though there's no way this is 20 sides. It boosts critical rate and adds chance of evading physical attacks. It sounds okay, but I don't think that this would be, like first priority farming. He has multiple gun abilities. Gun abilities aren't that great, honestly, in this game. And he has full break, as I mentioned, and we'll delve it deeper into it right about now. All right. So the first unit is Vanille. She's a healing and support, and not really that good. She's a base 4-star unit. Her stats are what you kind of expect, pretty weak as far as being squishy. She has decent mag, I guess, but she's more of a healer, so she has good spirit. Her equipment is pretty typical, although she is able to use whips and maces, which is kind of interesting. MP plus 20 as a passive, and as I mentioned, she has focus and cheer. Now the reason I'm not crazy about that is while it provides some flexibility, a lot of people already have these in their party. First of all, like they'll have a Refia who's way better healer, and they'll have Cecil who has focus, so you have both of these covered already. But even if you don't, there's just really no way she's going to be able to put up both of these and keep up her other healing duties or whatever. I guess if you, if cheer, if physical defense or whatever is a higher priority in the fight, you could put that first and you could put up focus second. But again, I mean, you don't want one person doing both of these and you're wasting 2 turns, and plus it's a lot of MP. And her MP pool is, what is her MP pool? 144. So, I mean, obviously you can boost that with some, materia, and she gets a 20% passive here, but I mean, if you're popping that in 2 turns, you're wasting like half your MP pool already. Her abilities, she has Asuna, which is okay, which is good, obviously. Cura, but as you can see, she doesn't have a Kiraja, so she can't be your primary healer anyway. So I don't know. I don't know why you would want to have both of these on one character and not even have a Kiraja. She's just really not that useful in my opinion. I would get her maybe for the TM, but that's about it. All right, so Sazh is, like I said, a very easy to get full breaker. Now I think because they swapped the order of all these events, like Final Fantasy 13 was supposed to come like a month ago at least. It would explain why we're getting such a weak full breaker at this point. I mean, we already got Ingus, we already got Ferris, and now we're getting Sazh. Kind of doesn't make sense, but I guess this is like your last ditch effort if you still don't have a full breaker. His stats are kind of okay. It's a little squishy, but his attack is respectable, I guess. His main weapon is going to be using guns, but he can also use bows and throwing weapons. I mean, you could use Killer Bow on him, and for certain passives and stuff like that. If you happen to have Rising Sun, you could use that on him. But I think a lot of us would be using the exclusive gun that we get from the event. Now these gunner, shooter, gunner, whatever abilities are pretty weak. The multipliers are really low for this stage of the game. HP plus 20%. Burst Shot is kind of his best physical one target ability for now, but then once you get that gun, he gets a better one, the cold, whatever it was called. Multiverse is kind of like his version of Blade Blitz. It's only a 1x multiplier, but it does have critical, so it turns out to be better than just what you would expect. Spark Strike, lightning physical damage, 1.5 to one enemy. That could be okay if they have weaknesses. And then, as mentioned, he has full break. Actually, there's no reason to be using Burst Shot. You'll probably be using full break at every opportunity, unless you're really, really strapped for MP. And then he has Kiraga as well, which is weird, but yeah. So his Desperado, his Limit Burst is actually pretty good. It's nice to have AOE Limit Burst. I just really like them, but as a whole, he's not that good of a character. You should have better full breakers by now. And finally, we have Snow. Again, for people who don't have Cecil, he's going to be your next best tank for a while. I think he's definitely going to be better than Demon Rain, to be honest. He has a really high HP pool, good defense, and his attack is good too. So he's Cecil's like a healing support type of tank, more of a healing tank. Snow is your offensive tank, physical damage dealer. Again, you could use Rising Sun on him if you happen to have that. You can put on that new mace that we got, which is really good. But for the most part, I think you'll want to use Fist because he does have passives and stuff like that. Aqua Strike, it's nice to have a water damage ability for once. He has a 30% counter, but actually that turns into a, a 60% counter later on at 6 stars. So yeah, he becomes very similar to Demon Rain, where he's just countering a lot of things. Defense plus 20, he needs that. Increase attack plus 50% when unarmed. I'm assuming this means like a fist weapon's okay. I don't know why you would want to put no weapon on him. Somebody please verify that. Draw attacks, kind of like a weak version of Provoke. Better than nothing, but you'll probably want to use Provoke if you have a Golem 2-star. Physical damage 1.8, that's a nice AoE. Again, we're seeing that on a lot of these 6-star newer characters. What's interesting about him is that he can actually counter magic attacks, which is really cool. Ice physical damage to one enemy. I mean, you'd want to use that and the water thing only if they have weaknesses. For the most part, you don't want to use that. HP Stroll, that's good if you're doing Aspiration. HP plus 30%. having trouble talking today, so he's already going to get tankier than he already is. And increase attack 50% for 3 turns to all allies. And that's not really that good because you'll be using cheer or embolden more than that. But, you know, just another option. It does inflict a lot of damage to you, so I can see using this if you're running out of MP on your Refia or whatever, and you kind of need to have that last boost, but for the most part, you won't really be using or relying too much on that. Then he has some magic, which is kind of pointless, because he's not a mage, but again, just another option. And then limit burst. This is really powerful, actually, especially if you max it out. But even at the base, 2.9 with ignore 50% to one enemy, that effectively goes to a 5.8. And he already has high attack, so that could be a really good limit burst to help you on bosses. So Snow is a good tank. He looks like he's really fun to use, actually. If you were to use him instead of a Cecil, I would recommend that you get somebody else with focus. So let's say you had Refia for Embolden, boost your attack and defense, and then you had Snow as your tank. You might want somebody like Ferris, who could be your full breaker and your focus user. So if you plan on using Snow, I would highly recommend that you try to get Ferris before that banner's gone. But overall, yeah, he's a good tank. I'm probably not going to use him instead of Cecil, but it looks like he would be a lot of fun to use. So it's up to you. Definitely, if you don't have a good tank right now, you want to pull for this banner, because until we get Warrior of Light 6-star, he's going to be your best bet. So hopefully I didn't get too many things wrong, and this was interesting. This is not a good banner for most people, because Snow is kind of the only good unit on the banner, and a lot of us already have Cecil, but I'm hoping that the second half of the Final Fantasy 13 event banner will be good. I think we have like Hope and Fang left, and people are speculating that maybe the third character that will be on that banner will be Lightning, which would be great, but if she's not on that banner, then there's really not a lot to look forward to. Anyway, we'll know more in the next few days, maybe, on some of the smaller details, and in the meantime, plan to get Snow if you need them, and yeah, save your lap piece or whatever if you need these characters for the bonus. See you next time.